Welcome everyone to this quick live stream and video regarding a review of the Sennheiser Momentum wireless Bluetooth true wireless headset, in-ear headset, and this is what it looks like, at least their advertisement here. This small pod things here, and actually initially I planned to review them in store, and because we are around the corner we have the flagship store, and I was there already 2 weeks ago, and actually they said, because I asked can I maybe make there a video, and the person said yeah, why not, maybe come in some morning. And I called there the other day and asked can we do it, and then they said yeah, now it's Eastern, maybe better another week. And today they called back and said me yeah, maybe better not. The headquarters said they don't like it so much, so okay. Anyway, in retrospect I have to say I'm not even sad that they now said yeah, maybe better don't do this here in our store, because now I can speak more freely about them, because actually I really wanted to love them here. In general they are partly amazing, and if someone from Sennheiser is watching, then maybe listen to my two major nitpicks. Long story short, I was in the store 2 weeks ago and they sounded really good. They were surprisingly lightweight, like really lightweight, and they sounded also good. I tested this here in store, and in store they sounded okay. I mean, for 299 euro or dollar, the price is somewhere here, 299.95 plus applicable sales tax and free shipping as usual. So these are the small pieces. They look heavier than they are. They were really lightweight and they sounded good in my quick tests here in the store. And this, however, is not the most important in my opinion. While I was in general surprised that they sounded okay and such, this has two main problems I wanted to talk about. Especially yesterday we quickly digressed there in the headphone category, and why I will probably not get them, because independently of the review in store and the YouTube video, I was thinking order I some for myself, because obviously I have Bluetooth here. I brought them back from home, and also now here something hanging inside. So you see, it's not like I cannot afford proper headphones. Here are those Sennheiser Momentum, what was the name? Momentum 2.0 or something, from 1 or 2 years ago. Actually, maybe in the meantime 2 years. And with them I'm quite satisfied, and obviously a completely different product category. But the major difference is that these can be operated wireless with Bluetooth and with a cable. So here you can plug in this. They unfortunately use this 2.5mm TRS jack, but whatever, that also latches a little bit in there with some plastic nose kind of thing, so that it doesn't fall out. And I tested this also in this flagship store 2 years ago, and I would not have purchased them if they would not operate without battery, because those work when you switch them off. Probably also if the battery dies, they still work over the cable obviously, so you can use those like literally forever, similar to my other now I have them so far away, super clever. Anyway, I hold it. Them other, this MDR something Sony, the microphone is further away on another desk. Anyway, so this is the main point. This investment also, I don't know, 300 something or 350 when it was new, whatever. This is an investment you can use for 10-20 years also on your reel-to-reel, your vinyl, your PlayStation, your Sun Microsystems, IBM server, you name it. And I would not have purchased them otherwise, because it's just complete waste of money in my opinion. And this is the problem, coming back to these, and this is why I make this video. You might say, why do we make this video if you don't even have this product? Yes, I could have been so evil like some others and order this on Amazon just for the test and send it back if I don't like it. But I don't want to be such a ass of a person, and this is why I don't do this. And in my opinion, in the meantime, I have researched enough of this not really want them anymore. And this is what I want to point out also with this cancelled in-store video filming. Where did I now put this card here? Again, not really so sad, because this allows me to speak freely. if I would have made a video in the store, I might have been slightly biased and not have pointed this out so openly, because the big problem here are the batteries. And although they look relatively large, the batteries are only, as usual, wrong focus. The batteries are only good for 3 hours, or maybe they write here 3 to 4. Let's see, somewhere was this. And by the way, the modern websites write only some marketing pictures, and for more details you click here, and wherever was the battery life, I think it was something like 4 hours. And this is already the biggest problem in my opinion. This is barely enough for a train ride from Berlin to Hanover, and this is really a little bit of a pity. Where is even now the details? You see, modern websites, I actually looked this up slightly before. Here, specs, show more. Of course, you also need to click here on show more, because who would be interested in specs? So Bluetooth 5 and also supported profiles are, actually profiles are not so, supported codecs. Somewhere it was written it supports not only Bluetooth, a mandatory Bluetooth crap codec, SBC or what, more small bandwidth codec, something. It also supports apt-x, low latency, and AAC. And also note, in the store they said the microphone sensitivity is good at here 94 decibel SPL at 1 kilohertz, and they also have the frequency range. In the store they were quite proud that this has a microphone frequency range from 100 hertz to 10 kilohertz, and otherwise of course 5 hertz to 21 kilohertz. This is of course looks good on paper, but more to this in a second. And this is also the difference why you probably should not trust big YouTubers, because they usually say, look what Sennheiser sent us over for review, and it is amazing, and unfortunately often not, because not only does it on paper, here it's by the way battery time up to 4 hours, and this is already their best case scenario. Not even sure with all codecs, whatever, but whatever. So, and up to 12 hours with a rechargeable battery case, as also with Apple AirPods and whatnot. And here, by the way, here are the codecs again: SBC, apt-x, low latency, and AAC. This was also why I thought maybe it's nice for me to get this. Not only did they sound okayish, I mean, for $300 they better sound good, but also for me, for Linux, to test apt-x low latency. I made a video a year ago that apt-x was reverse engineered. It is, the code is in GStreamer or somewhere, or FFmpeg, so you can, since last year or something, can watch this video. This works, and I wanted to have also eventually, because these do not support this only support SBC and apt-x, I think, and ideally for our massive amounts of hours donated to open source, I thought it's nice to test, and so such low latency apt-x and AAC. So this is a summary. Technical specs quite outstanding except the battery life. This is also my opinion the problem with AirPods, by the way, just for reference. Apple quotes here up to 5 hours, so slightly longer. So in practice, whatever. And I come to some more problems in a second, because this is only on paper, and this is already short for me. So even with just this, I'm already, for $300, not really the most thrilled. And on top of everything, the battery case is not wireless chargeable. So this battery case here, this one obviously has a built-in battery, and with this Samsung here that has this power thing, by the way, is this even, I hope this, actually I mixed here the camera scene. So because this has this whatever power marketing name it is, you could charge this battery case with your Samsung thing there on the go in the train or plane, which would be quite handy, but unfortunately this charging case only has USB-C, and this is additional thing that is not amazing, the most amazing for this headset here. And these problems are unfortunately not enough, and this is probably also good why Sennheiser cancelled here my in-store filming, because I have to tell you, of course, I'm not stupid. I looked this up on Amazon, like probably you should also do. Never impulse buy stuff, especially for $300, because the Amazon reviews here are not the most amazing. We start with a German first, and I don't make this up. This is not from me. This is just the Amazon reviews, and this is also, I was considering to order them here for testing for apt-x and AAC and whatnot, but when I see here this review, of course, one review is German, I will live translate as usual, and I will also open the Amazon.com, because this is not just one review. So They write here, okay, 1-star review, you see it already. They basically say here crap. New earpiece and first charge only left only 95%, other side 100% from the first charge, so okay. Then they write here second charge cycle, right side 100%, left side only 90%, and then from the third charge cycle it was only 88% left, and so yeah. Also, let's see, was there more? So a super long review. I don't really think people made this up because there's also more than one review. And this is, I'm really sorry to say this, I really would love to sit here and say this designed in Germany, probably made in China, is so often, I think even this one is probably made in China, I guess. Anyway, I would like to sit here and say this is amazing. They look quite good, they feel quite good, they sound quite good. But if the battery life on paper is already not amazing, and then the reviews right here, the battery life is really crap, then the next problem is also additionally not only that they are apparently not charging the most amazingly. Here is also here's more of those. Here also people complaining that they discharge. So if some people leave them in the back, they discharge here. Also the next review, 4 stars, not completely 100% well done or something. Sound, whatever. I found the sound okay, whatever. So scrolling here over this Bluetooth update. Here's also good and bad. Wherever this things are. Anyway, the next point here, anyway, you will find, here's also, you see, and here a disappointed defect. Left side doesn't charge properly. He tried 3 pairs and stuff. You also find the same in the Amazon.com, so I'm not making this up here from the German store. Here is how to change this to 1 star from 2. Got the second unit. It's even worse. Sound is great, but I use it on 30-minute train ride to work in the morning. Put it back in the case and make sure it disconnects, and then the battery charges here discharges here very quickly. So this is a recurring theme there if you go over all of these reviews, which I of course will not do here now live on YouTube. You can read this yourself. I only wanted, unfortunately, I have to be the messenger here for that thing. So these I can still recommend, certainly a totally different product category, and this you can use with a cable without battery. And there's also chances that you can service those batteries. I was in the Sennheiser store. So not only for the Sony MDR 7605 or whatever that was, the other one, where you get theoretically spare parts for this, you can get spare parts and service, unlike at Apple where you can't service anything. And in the store I asked them, sensitive with this topic, I asked Sennheiser here in this flagship store, and how is this with the battery when it is dead in a couple of years time? And the salesperson said there, yeah, in general you can get parts, so he thinks you can swap the battery. And I thought, okay, knowing then how that could be the case, given that they also sell very expensive microphones and stuff. However, today for the video, I wanted to not say your wrong things, not that I tell you you can swap the batteries, because honestly, it looks like you, for example, you could peel this off and get there to the battery. Much better construction than, of course, the Apple iPods or AirPods. And I called Sennheiser just an hour ago here for this video. And unfortunately, I have bad news. The first person didn't know. Actually, the first person said this is not his product category. I specifically called to the technical service and spare part department, and the first person said, yes, it's not my product. I probably got to him with overcrowded telephone lines, but he thinks probably yes, but he transferred me to another person. The second person said, no, you can't swap this. So now I have 2 so and 1 definitive answer. The person who said he is responsible for this said you cannot swap the batteries. I pressed him a little bit and said, for a 300 euro product, I find this a little bit disappointing if the battery life after 2 or 3 years is only less than 2 hours or something. And he only said, yeah, but the charge case. And I repeated, yeah, the charge case does not help much if after 2 years time, like with the AirPods, I made a video about this, you can read this online, the battery life is only 2 hours or 1 hour or something. Completely disappointed, of course. In my opinion, not the right investment. And this is also why I make this video. This, in my opinion, is not an outstanding development of products. These headsets you can use for decades, and this maybe swaps the battery, maybe. And this is also why I probably simply stay here on this B&W C2 or whatever this name was, not a paid advertisement. I have them, purchased them myself, have them for, of course, slightly dirty. Could have cleaned them before the video, but that is what we are here, some ad hoc live streaming, because why not? So then I rather take something like this. They were 180 or so. They are in the meantime, of course, old. I have them for maybe 5 years. And there you see the difference and why when I point out on Twitter, this is not amazing and I would not recommend this, and all the Apple fans tell me, no, it's amazing, I should get the AirPods. Excuse me, I don't spend 170. For the same price of the AirPods, I could have got this, and they have infinite battery life. Although, by the way, I can't recommend them the most. They are a little bit heavy in the ears. They are quite large. They are not the most comfortable, so I use them, but yeah, whatever. Somehow with each product I find something. Really sorry for this, but maybe this is better. Then I would tell you these are amazing. Go and buy them. Somehow everything has a little bit of a drawback. And also this is the first set. The second set, the first broke. The first I've not even used so often because I also had here other Sony and whatnot. So the first set for 2 years I have not used that much, only when traveling a little bit. And they broke literally by itself. One stopped working entirely, except when I pressed it here a little bit. So, and I found other people on the internet having the same problem. So maybe the membrane got stuck somehow with this magnet or coil or something. And I have to give a shout out to B&W. It's not a paid advertisement, but they were out of warranty. And I contacted them here in Germany and told them I don't have the receipt anymore. They are probably older than 2 years, but it sounds like a manufacturing defect. Other people on the internet also have the same issue. And they did not, it was not long discussion. They relatively quickly wanted to send new ones over. So big shout out to this. The first one were defect. I cannot guarantee you that you will have an out of warranty RMA luck like I had. This was before I did YouTube, so I didn't make YouTube filming or something. This was just a private citizen asking them nicely. Maybe they knew that they had a manufacturing problem there or something. Anyway, so this is the second set. And yeah, this is different. I can plug them into my father's reel-to-reel, a vinyl player, a Sony PlayStation, or wherever. And this amazingly universal plug-in technology just works and has an infinite battery life, except when your phone battery dies. And this is my love and hate relationship here with this Bluetooth stuff. Also another data point to make this here the most sophisticated headphone review on YouTube ever. I have not yet tried the AirPods. I only tried them from some friends on some travel. And in my opinion, they did not really sound so much better than the $39.99 wired AirPods, wired pods. But one thing I would want eventually try with the AirPods is if you can edit iMovie videos with this, because with this Sennheiser Bluetooth, you can unfortunately via Bluetooth on macOS, even the latest macOS Mojave, you cannot edit videos because each time you pause the video editing, which is usually often because you have it running, and pause and resume fast forward each time. And this is the latest version on my Retina MacBook Pro, not on Hackintosh, Retina MacBook Pro, latest version of Mojave, latest macOS, iMovie. It is impossible to edit videos over Bluetooth in iMovie because of the clicks and pops, because you pause the video, you start it, and it clicks and pops, and there is latency. It is basically unusable. You can do it somehow, but the result is not amazing. It's not an amazing video editing experience. Also, at least with this one, over Bluetooth, the microphone quality is totally crappy. It is 10 years, 20 years old Bluetooth, mono whatever SBC crap codec or whatever, so it sounds like a 9600 baud telephone call from back in the day. So you can also not, you can make a phone call, but you can definitely not use this to record professional audio over Bluetooth. You can maybe do this with a wired cable, but this is of course not what people always want to sell me Bluetooth for. And this probably concludes the most sophisticated in-depth Bluetooth headset review here on YouTube, and this is why you probably want to share, like, and subscribe here to my channel. So another data point is also why I ended here with the microphone quality of this Sennheiser. On this true wireless thing here, they actually advertise here superior microphone quality. I said this in the beginning of the video, and while I have not tested this in my 10-minute in-store flagship store playing there with this, I can show you Amazon reviews that people are not the most amazed. This is also slightly irritating. Here's the difference between specifications and real life, because as I told you in the beginning, and the people in the store, the salespeople were proud of, they quote here 100 Hz to 10 kHz, which sound okay. However, when you then go to Amazon, here were reviews about microphone. Not here. So you should always, lesson learned, or did I open? I opened here one review. Where is here the more review button? Microphone. Anyway, you, as usual, cannot have pre-searched here enough. I thought I already pre-searched this. Next page is here not a call. Here, and still find that outside phone call reception is mediocre. Music quality is great, making a call is impossible. On most calls people say they can't hear me at all or I sound underwater. And then the usual, well, I would not blame here Samsung Galaxy for this. Here they say they rarely connect to Samsung Galaxy S Plus. Not really sure for me in the store, they obviously connected immediately. So to summarize this, they look amazing, they sound good. I mean, for 300 bucks they better do. Microphone quality questionable, battery life disappointing, especially if they really have this battery draining problem when not used. And also for this price I would in this day and age expect a wireless charging case just for the added comfort. And also, in my opinion, if this is really true, I now have mixed answers in the store. They told me you can swap the battery, probably with their experience of Sennheiser. Maybe that is not true. The called telephone service person there told me that telephone Sennheiser dedicated technician told me no, so I don't know what to make out of this. However, in my opinion, if you design things like this, it looks like this should be possible to open. If this, I don't know if someone from Sennheiser wants to correct me if I'm wrong here or their official support answer is wrong. If you can open this here and swap the battery, maybe send it in for service, then please let us know. Otherwise, I have to say this is certainly 1 star less or 2 star less for not swappable batteries there. And in my opinion, it sure looks like it could be possible. So if it's possible or not, make it possible. This is ridiculous. If this would cost 49 euro, maybe, but even then I would say for the environment and whatsoever. But 299 makes a battery swappable, and then this is a really a killer argument against Apple's AirPods to buy these instead of the AirPods. I have to say so in general, probably all these problems that I summarized here are maybe not specific to the Sennheiser, maybe they are specific to all Bluetooth wireless headsets, because this is just what Bluetooth is. Also obviously 4 hours battery life. Why? Because these things are tiny. They look slightly larger here on the phone, on the picture, certainly similar size, but in reality they are obviously only there just fitting into your ear, obviously, and yeah, there is only so much battery you can fit in there, so not a surprise there in regards to battery life. So comments in the audience, the plus side here of live streams, we have quite some. Welcome everyone in the audience. Not sure if I like Bluetooth headsets, the sound quality mostly is crap on them. So this is old technology. What I also have, if you run this on Linux until recently, SBC or other, for example, even maybe Nexus phones. I think my Nexus 5 did not have apt-x because Google didn't license this patented technology, but on other Androids like Samsung Galaxy and other flagship things, you had this already, apt-x codecs there for less compression. But this is also why I wanted AAC, because I thought I need to check if the music purchased at Apple is AAC or other things like 7 Digital. But to this I made a video about purchasing digital music on Linux with 7 Digital, but I probably have to update this also. I have some new discoveries, and because if you stream music over these, they are recompressed, right? So you have your audio as MP3 or Ogg Vorbis or Opus or AAC or whatever, and if you send this to your Bluetooth headset, they are recompressed with either crappy SBC, which sounds totally crappy. I can, with an A/B comparison, find this here 100%. apt-x sounds way better. I have not done A/B testing, but maybe I would not be able to differentiate that. This is why you want this new codecs and run this. If you are interested, you can watch the details in the dedicated apt-x video there from a year ago. And yeah, in general, the problem is also the only drawback here of this, by the way, this is 2 cables. It looks slightly spaghetti worse than it is. It's only this. So this is, of course, yes, I agree, also slightly inconvenient to untangle and have in a plane. Also, if you board and such, you have luggage. I usually try to avoid checking in luggage and travel with hand luggage, and then you always have a cable hanging there. Yes, but honestly, it is doable. If it, probably, in my opinion, so far, it's mostly preferable to have a cable instead of, and have to deal with this, than to have to deal with an empty battery. Also, this, I said I have them at home, and every 5th time I want to use them, they are mostly discharged. So much to your Bluetooth experience, but thanks God I still have a cable for those. More comments in the audience. Let's check clip use normal wired headphones, Bluetooth if needed, otherwise stick to a cable for best quality. And another YouTuber tested those Sennheiser Momentums and deemed it crappy. Usually trust his reviews. Well, again, in the store they sounded really good in my quick test, but what is killing it for me is battery life. This, especially battery life, if advertised, is already so la-la. If it is as crappy as the Amazon reviews make it sound, then it is of course a total showstopper. And microphone quality is, of course, if they already advertise superior microphone quality, then it better be. And for me as a YouTuber and content creator, it would of course be useful if I could use this to record voiceovers, this fun stuff that people do nowadays. And sound quality depends on the protocol of both devices. Your experience may vary between the devices. Yeah, this is also one thing that I also don't like with either Android, that you can't, even on the Nexus, you have not a real control there to see what codec is used. You don't have there a device property. Why can they not put there a device property info button in the Bluetooth section? And because I had to Google this, I only know that my Nexus 5 didn't have apt-x because I couldn't find any information on this. And then I Googled, and back in the day I found that 3 years ago or so Google did not have apt-x for licensing reasons. So yeah. And when I'm communicating to work wireless, Scott says, look, AKJ. And yeah, I have AKJ, by the way. I have here AKJ microphones, which I may or may not should actually use for recording. So some vintage AKJ microphones, because I said it already 20 years ago, we started here some semi-professional studio stuff. Maybe I should have done this instead of so much unpaid open source work. However, the free Sennheiser, the free Samsung Galaxy S10e came with AKG, and the wired ones did not sound that amazing. So, but I maybe can try to test this Y50 out there that Luke is saying in the audience of the comments. I have a Sony MDR1A over-ear, which with wire, and for traveling ear Sony MH1 in-ear Sony MH1. MH sounds a little bit like my mini disc player, and says Leszek. So are cheap and sound amazing, and maybe this can be the concluding thing here for this YouTube video. And now for the end of the YouTube video, I go over to the other desk and pick up my Sony that I just used to voice over here some other YouTube video that will be published tomorrow. And these are my 2-decade-old. I showed this in the other live stream with already replaced over-ear things. And this is the difference. And I think I brought them 20 years ago, and they look mostly like new, even for the most part here. And this is the difference of companies like Apple always taking all your money and buying quality stuff that lasts 2 decades, and maybe it will last 50 years. And you can still use them on anything from your father's reel-to-reel to your latest PS4 controller, I guess, which I think has a headphone jack, if I recall correctly. And maybe this is the lesson learned. All this wireless stuff is not as convenient, battery life dying, overpriced stuff, and better buy here old-fashioned wired stuff, because this stuff simply works and sounds amazing, because this sounds really good. I'm really surprised that you can still buy them. You can still buy these here new. They were really, actually I brought them from Music Supply in 1998ish or something, and I think they were even advertised as studio reference monitor headphones or something, and a lot of DJs use them. Also DJs, this is why probably you can fold it like this, and not a bad thing. And this really survived here 20 years, so much to the quality. And this is maybe the biggest takeaway. And when you buy new Bluetooth wireless stuff, maybe buy something that can have an optional wire, you know, just for the added compatibility and longevity. I hope you learned something, enjoyed this live review here. Unfortunately, as I said, I wanted to love them. It has nothing to do that they last minute said I should probably, headquarters said I shouldn't film in the store, so okay, fine. But this is also why you really need to be careful with YouTube reviews. You see so many famous YouTubers who get the stuff, and if I get the stuff for free, so I did not get anything for free, and they even, if I would have filmed this in the store, I don't want to be a sellout, and I don't want to lie to you, but of course it feels different if you sit there at Sennheiser and record something. And I'm actually not even sad that they said this, because I thought, in the meantime, I googled so much details, maybe it is really better. Otherwise, you are really biased if you want to admit it or not. If you get something to test, you are biased. Yeah, this is probably also another takeaway. Don't trust famous influencers, because no surprise, they influence. So yeah, I hope you found here plenty of useful information and the small details that you probably want to take a look at if you shelled out $300 for some technology. And in my opinion, we also don't really develop. Is this the right development? Is this advancement? All the people, all the Apple fanboys on Twitter always tell me this is the latest and greatest, and I often unfortunately disagree. Is this really more amazing than, you know, our previous generation had better audio quality than the Bluetooth compressed stuff? And again, this Bluetooth compressed stuff is recompressed, right? You don't have compression artifacts from your purchased music, plus, well, that you probably are usually not able to hear, but theoretically they are there. There is something lost theoretically, even though psychoacoustically you can't hear it usually. But additionally, it is recompressed, so then you have twice the artifacts, obviously, especially over SBC. Certainly apt-x and AAC are better. I also wonder, this is why I wanted this AAC, because maybe I wait for the second generation. Maybe the 2.0 version in a year or two will be wireless chargeable and this battery draining issue fixed. Where was the more details button, or am I already on the spec page? This is also the modern website, too much graphic at the end. You would miss all the information. Or I don't know. Here, more details. I just saw it here. And with the wire as well, yeah. So because what did I wanted to point out now? This is while looking on the comments, and then your line of thoughts disappear. Ah yes, AAC, because I was wondering if you can, of course not on macOS. This is, by the way, this kind of optimizations I'm wondering if macOS is doing, or iOS maybe not, because if this is AAC, which is the same that Apple is compressing the music, then theoretically you could stream this to the headset without recompression, theoretically improving the audio quality there. And iTunes, let's see if this is, choose import settings. By default, iTunes uses AAC. So yeah, this might be possible. Not sure if iOS is doing this because sharing has some software development trickery, because normally with Pulse Audio or something like this or pure ALSA, you would decompress this, a player like this old-fashioned MMX or whatever, or SOX or whatever, KDE and GNOME stuff, you name it, or Firefox. They decompress it, feed it into the system audio like either ALSA or Pulse Audio or whatever, and then it gets recompressed, for example, by the system daemon like either the Bluetooth daemon or Pulse Audio. And to optimize this, theoretically, this Pulse Audio stuff or iTunes, or the, actually not iTunes, but the macOS, iOS Core Audio, the system audio server daemon stuff there, it could actually path it through directly without recompressing. But for this to work, the application, this is, I think, not possible right now in Linux. Maybe in, not yet, have not checked latest Pulse Audio recently. But with, for example, if you write a custom software in Linux, you could theoretically do a direct Bluetooth correction and pipe this AAC directly without recompressing. And I really wonder if any of those devices do this. And this is, of course, why you are here on my channel, to learn such details, but probably most normal human beings never think about this. And the trick is, of course, that if you have system audio, you might have other notifications, like notifications, alarms, cellular calls incoming, and other system notifications, whatever they might be, volume controls. And so you need to blend in additional sounds there, mix them in. So you would need in your audio system daemon stuff, if you have some direct compressed audio pass-through mode, you would need to have this mix-in capability and seamlessly, instantly switch over to decompressing this AAC, mixing in the system audio in case of bell notification, whatsoever stuff. And then if the system sounds, additional system sounds are over, switch back to piping through the direct compressed data. I hope this is at least some more low-level system advanced programming stuff you learned here today. And let's see more comments in the audience based on the special 3.5 on the other side. Yeah, but this bastard used this. Yeah, so this is also this one, this 2.5, which by the way is not so special. Even my small Exacode company has stock of at least 1 or 2 2.5mm jacks here, because we are an amazing company and need stock of random crap here for tinkering and whatnot, and soldering from in the lunch break and breakfast. And this is why you work for amazing companies like this. And however, they cheated me a little bit. I did not pay attention when I brought this. I brought this here at Sennheiser in the flagship store when it opened 2 years ago. And I did not pay attention. So there actually, you need to be careful. There are maybe 2 versions, or you need to buy this cable additionally, because as you see, this is a only 3. This is 4-ring to 3-ring. And apparently there either might be Android and iOS versions, or you always need to buy this cable. So I've not yet bothered to buy a special cable, because I guess there probably is a cable for 4-ring to 4-ring to use a microphone. This is really disappointing. Maybe I could have been more careful, or they always sell it like this. I've not yet researched this. Just that you know that. Why are there sometimes Android and iOS versions? Because these cables are special snowflakes. Also, Android phones usually use different signaling. They are on the 4th pin for microphone and buttons. And this is why usually iOS and Android cables are not swappable, and why sometimes using iOS compatible headsets do not work fully on Android. Like, you have audio, but for example, you can't use the cable remote buttons or stuff like this because of different encoding there of this nonsense. So yeah, hope you learned something and enjoyed this video, and this was useful for your buying decision. And again, I would wish we would sit here and could say everything is amazing, but unfortunately it is not, and this is why this kind of reviews probably should be helpful for you to make a educated buying decision and not waste your hard-earned money on some maybe not as amazingly working crap. As I said, half of this stuff was also either specification or Amazon reviews, because I didn't have more quality time to test it. But so again, be careful, stay awesome, don't forget to share, like and subscribe, and I hope to see you soon for all the next videos to come.